Most stories of survival begin with a fight to stay together. This story begins with a choice to leave. In the middle of the most hostile environment on Earth, where the nihilist penguin was first captured on film, a strange phenomenon occurs. While thousands of emperor penguins huddle for warmth, one bird will occasionally turn its back on the colony. It doesn't head for the ocean, and it doesn't head for food. It begins to walk inland, toward the vast frozen interior of the continent, towards certain death. Why does a creature designed for the ocean choose a path where there is no water, no food, and no hope? This is not just a glitch in nature. It is the ultimate expression of the brutal bargain life makes with Antarctica. Today, we go beyond the cute tuxedo imagery. We explore the biological torpedoes that dive 500 meters deep, the cool box bellies that keep fish fresh for weeks, and the miraculous resurrection of islands once stained by the whaling industry. This is the impossible life of the Antarctic lords. Welcome to WonderDoc Studio. If you are fascinated by the mysteries of the natural world, subscribe and join our journey into the unknown. To survive Antarctica, the emperor penguin had to reinvent the feather. They don't have the light, fluffy plumage of a flying bird. They wear an exoskeleton of insulation. With over 100 feathers per square inch, they have the densest coat of any bird on Earth. These feathers are short, stiff, and shaped like overlapping scales. They lock together to create a windproof shield that can withstand a 200-kilometer-per-hour blizzard. Beneath this armor, a layer of downy filaments traps a pocket of air against the skin. This air is warmed by the bird's body, creating a personal spacesuit that keeps them at a balmy 38 degrees Celsius, even when the outside world is minus 60 degrees Celsius. But the real secret is the preen gland. Located at the base of the tail, this gland produces a specialized waterproofing oil. The penguin spends hours coating its feathers in this substance, making them so sleek that water cannot stick to them. This ensures that when they emerge from the freezing ocean, the water slides off instantly before it can turn into a cage of ice. Finally, there is the blubber. A 3-centimeter layer of fat acts as the ultimate thermal barrier and a massive fuel tank. This combination of oil, air, and fat makes the emperor the most well-insulated animal on the planet. They are so efficient that they don't even leak heat. Infrared cameras show their outer feathers are actually colder than the Antarctic air around them. In the depths of the Antarctic winter, the temperature drops to minus 60 degrees Celsius, and the wind screams at speeds that would topple a human. Solitary survival is a death sentence. To combat this, the penguins engage in the huddle, the most sophisticated thermal cooperative in the animal kingdom. This is not a random crowd. It is a living, breathing heat engine. Inside the center of a huddle, the temperature can reach a staggering 37 degrees Celsius. This creates a bizarre paradox. While the air outside is cold enough to freeze blood in seconds, the birds in the center are actually in danger of overheating. To survive, the colony follows a strict mathematical code of movement. The huddle is in constant, fluid motion. Every 30 to 60 seconds, a pulse travels through the group. The birds on the cold windward edge, who act as the shield for the rest, slowly shuffle toward the warmth. This forces the birds in the steaming center to migrate outward. It is a slow-motion dance where no bird is a leader and every bird is a wall. Scientists have found that this movement is so precise that if a single penguin moves just 2 centimeters, it can trigger a wave of movement that reposition thousands of others. This is the brutal truth of their social contract. They have traded their individual freedom for a collective life support system. In the huddle, the ego dies so that the species may live. While the females have vanished into the Black Sea to feast, the males begin the most grueling vigil in the animal kingdom. For 65 consecutive days, the male emperor becomes a living incubator. He is the only male in nature that takes on this level of solitary burden in such extreme conditions. He has no food. He eats only snow. His body is literally eating itself, burning through its own fat reserves to keep the furnace of his brood patch burning. The brutal truth of this stage is the silence. There is no singing. There is only the scream of the wind. He balances the egg on the tops of his feet, tucked under a fold of highly vascularized skin. If he moves too fast, or if the huddle shifts too violently, the egg slips. In Antarctica, the ice is a zero-tolerance zone. If an egg touches the frozen ground for more than a few seconds, the embryo inside is extinguished instantly. By the end of this 2-month fast, the male is a ghost of his former self, often losing up to 45% of his total body weight. He stands there starving and shivering, sustained only by a biological clock and the hope that the horizon will soon reveal the returning silhouette of his mate. The search for food is not a simple swim. It is a descent into the abyss. The emperor penguin is a master of hyperbaric physiology. As they dive to depths of 500 meters, the pressure is immense, enough to crush a human being. To survive, they trigger a dive reflex that defies the metabolic limits of any other bird. They undergo bradycardia, slowing their heart rate from 100 beats per minute to as low as 20. They effectively shut down the blood flow to their digestive system and kidneys, shunting every precious drop of oxygen-rich blood to the brain and heart. They are among the few creatures on Earth that store oxygen not just in their lungs, but directly in their muscle myoglobin. This allows their muscles to keep firing long after their lungs have run dry, enabling them to stay submerged for over 20 minutes on a single breath. They are biological submarines, designed to hunt in a realm of crushing pressure and freezing darkness where life should not exist. In the pitch-black darkness of the deep, how does a bird find a single fish? The emperor does not use sonar like a whale. It relies on optic mastery. The emperor's eye is a miracle of engineering. Unlike a human eye, which is spherical, the penguin has a flat cornea. On land, this makes them look slightly nearsighted, but underwater, it allows the eye to adjust perfectly for the refractive index of seawater. Their retinas are saturated with rhodopsin, a light-sensitive pigment that allows them to see into the blue-violet spectrum. This is crucial because, in the deep ocean, red light is the first to be filtered out by the water. The penguin doesn't see a black ocean. They see a world of bioluminescent sparks and silver shadows. They are tracking the shadows of the silverfish against the faint glow of deep-sea microorganisms. They are hunting by sight in a world where a human would be functionally blind. They are the eyes of the abyss, seeing the invisible in the pursuit of survival. The brutal truth of the Antarctic is that the hunter is always the hunted. At the edge of the ice, there exists a sentinel of pure muscle and instinct, the leopard seal. While the emperor is a master of the deep, the leopard seal is a master of the ambush. Growing up to 3.5 meters long, these predators do not roam the open ocean. They wait in the shadow zone, the dark, turbulent water just beneath the lip of the ice shelf. The seal knows that every penguin must eventually surface to breathe. It waits for the moment of exhaustion. This is a battle of agility versus power. The leopard seal's jaws are equipped with specialized teeth that can both filter krill and tear flesh. For the emperor, the return from a successful hunt is the most dangerous moment of their lives. They must navigate a gauntlet of teeth to reach the safety of the frozen surface. There is no mercy in the shadow zone. It is the tax the ocean collects from the colony. To escape the jaws of the leopard seal, the penguin uses a secret weapon of fluid dynamics: air lubrication. We call it the bubble wrap turbo. As the penguin swims toward the surface, it releases tiny air bubbles trapped within its dense feathers. These bubbles act as a lubricant, reducing the friction or drag between the penguin's body and the heavy seawater. By creating a layer of air around its skin, the penguin effectively thins the water. This allows them to accelerate from a cruising speed to over 30 kilometers per hour in a heartbeat. This burst of speed turns the bird into a feathered rocket. They use this momentum to launch themselves entirely out of the water, often clearing icy shelves that are 2 to 3 meters high. It is a biological jet propulsion system, a final act of defiance that leaves the predator snapping at empty air and bubbles. When a mother returns from the sea, she faces a mathematical nightmare. She is standing in a sea of 10,000 identical gray chicks and thousands of identical-looking fathers. In this world, sight is an illusion. The brutal truth is that they live in a world of acoustic maps. The emperor penguin possesses a specialized vocal organ called the syrinx. Unlike humans, they have a two-voice system that allows them to produce two different frequencies at the same time. The interaction between these notes creates a unique, vibrating beat pattern, a vocal fingerprint as distinct as a human thumbprint. Amidst the deafening roar of a colony that sounds like a construction site, the mother lets out a braying cry. Her mate hears that specific frequency, and only that frequency. This is the digital handshake of nature, a single thread of sound that reconnects a family in the middle of a frozen wasteland. How does a penguin carry a meal for weeks across a frozen continent without it rotting? In any other creature, stomach acids and bacteria would turn a fish into waste within hours. But the emperor is a biological alchemist. Their bellies act as a cool box or a refrigerated vault. Scientists have discovered a specific antimicrobial peptide in their stomachs called sphenosin. This chemical effectively freezes the biological clock of the bacteria that cause decay. The penguin's internal temperature remains high, yet the food remains pristine, as fresh as the day it was caught. This allows the parent to deliver a high-protein, sashimi-grade meal to a chick that has been waiting in the cold for months. It is the ultimate expression of the biological bargain. The parent sacrifices their own digestion to preserve the life of their offspring. As the chicks grow, the story enters its most vulnerable chapter. The nursery. Once the chicks are too large to fit on their parents' feet, they form creche, small huddles of gray, downy youth. While the parents are away on a 100-kilometer commute to the ocean, the chicks must defend themselves. But the nursery has a dark psychological undercurrent, driven by a hormonal surge of prolactin. Females who have lost their own chicks can become kidnappers. These grieving mothers will frantically try to scoop up any unattended chick. Often, multiple females will fight over a single baby, accidentally trampling or crushing the very life they are trying to save. It is a tragic, brutal paradox of the Antarctic, where a mother's instinct to protect is so powerful, it can become a death sentence for the young. Before a penguin can claim the ocean, it must survive its most undignified transformation, the catastrophic molt. Unlike most birds that replace a few feathers at a time, penguins replace their entire coat at once. This is not a choice. It is a biological overhaul. During this period, the penguin loses its waterproofing and its insulation. For 3 weeks, the bird is grounded. They cannot enter the water to feed because the freezing southern ocean would reach their skin instantly, causing hypoxia and death. They stand in their own rags of downy fur, shivering and starving. They look like beggars in the snow, but this is the final price of the adult armor. Once the last of the gray down falls away, they are finally equipped with the interlocking, wax-coated shield they need to survive the abyss. It is a rebirth through suffering. How does a bird stand on ice for months without its feet freezing solid? A human limb would suffer from frostbite and necrosis in minutes. The emperor uses a masterpiece of thermal engineering, counter-current heat exchange. The arteries carrying warm blood down from the heart are tightly interwoven with the veins carrying cold blood back from the feet. The warm blood pre-cools the blood headed for the feet, and the cold blood pre-warms the blood returning to the heart. By keeping their feet just a few degrees above freezing, they minimize the temperature difference between their skin and the ice. This prevents them from melting the ice, which would cause them to get stuck, and saves a massive amount of metabolic energy. Their feet are not just appendages, they are thermal isolators that allow them to stand on a frozen grave without ever feeling the chill. The emperor penguin is the king of this land, but every king has a master. For Antarctica, that master is the krill. These tiny crustaceans are the most successful animal species on Earth by biomass, exceeding the weight of all humans combined. They are the biological fuel of the Southern Ocean. But krill are more than just food. They are a carbon pump. They eat carbon-rich algae at the surface and then dive into the deep to excrete it, locking carbon away from the atmosphere for centuries. When the penguin eats the krill, it becomes a partner in the planet's climatic heartbeat. The brutal truth is that the survival of the penguin is inextricably linked to these tiny, glowing engines. If the sea ice disappears, the krill lose their home. And if the krill vanish, the lords of the ice simply cease to exist. We are watching the survivors of a grander, more terrifying era. 37 million years ago, Antarctica was not a tomb of ice, but a temperate forest. In those waters lived Palaeodiptes klakowski, the Colossus penguin, standing nearly 2 meters tall and weighing over 115 kilograms. This was a bird the size of a man. As the continent drifted south and the ice caps formed, the giants could not sustain their massive caloric needs. Evolution forced them to shrink, to become more efficient, and to develop the social mathematics of the huddle. The emperor penguin of today is the refined survivor, a living relic of a biological apocalypse that wiped out the titans of the South. They carry the DNA of giants in a world of ice. The story of the emperor penguin is not one of victory, but of endurance. They do not win against Antarctica. They simply refuse to be defeated by it. As the summer ends and the cycle begins anew, the penguins return to the edge of the ice. They do not ask for pity. They do not ask for understanding. They simply turn their backs to the wind, tuck their heads, and wait. The penguin that walked away in our introduction, the nihilist, remains the ultimate mystery. Perhaps he was a glitch, or perhaps he was the only one who truly understood the weight of the Antarctic bargain. For the rest, the march continues. They are the torpedoes of the deep and the silent guardians of the last great wilderness. Thank you for joining us at WonderDoc Studio. If you found this journey into the brutal truth of Antarctica fascinating, hit the like button and subscribe for more mysteries from the natural world. What other hidden stories are waiting in the ice? Tell us in the comments. Until next time, stay curious,